Hello everyone, welcome to the new session of post harvesting process part 3. So in this session we are going to study about the raw material that is used for the post harvesting process and the different types of flours that can be prepared. So this is for the second level of the post harvesting process. Okay, so raw material, the quality of the raw material has an influence over the quality of the products. So whatever the raw material we are using for preparing anything, that determines the quality of the product. Okay, so the high quality raw material should be used. So if we want a product of a good quality, then it should have good quality raw materials. Small scale bakers do not normally have facilities for the floor analysis and rely on the information supplied by the miller or wholesaler. So there are some small scale bakers and there are some large scale bakers. So the small scale bakers do not have any facility that they can determine that this particular flour is very good. Okay, so they do not have any facilities for analysis of the flour that they are using for preparing the bread or any baking product. Okay, so they rely on the information supplied by the miller or wholesaler. There are few simple tests that they can carry out which gives useful information about the flour quality, but there are some tests available that these small scale bakers must follow to know the flour quality. What is the quality of the flour? So flour can be milled from a variety of cereals. So we are having cereals like rice, like cassava, like wheat, maize, okay, gram, and we make flour of all those grains. We are having wheat flour, we are having rice flour, we are having maize flour, we are having this gram flour. Okay, so different flour we are having, we can prepare from the different types of cereals. So the type of available in each country or the region may depend upon the type of cereal grown. So every country do not have a same type of cereal. Okay, according to the climate, according to the soil, they are having their own cereals. They grow that cereals, right? Because the soil favors the growth of that particular cereal, the climate favors that particular cereal. Okay, so according to the country or the region that they are growing a particular type of cereal, wheat flour tends to be available in most places. So wheat flour is one of the flour that is grown all over the world, in fact in every country. Wheat flour contain proteins known as gluten. So this is one of the protein that contain in the wheat flour. These are capable of forming a strong elastic network within the dough, which is very useful when making the leavened bread. So the gluten must present, this particular protein must present when we are preparing the leavened bread. The protein network trap the gas that is given off by the yeast during the fermentation. So for preparation of the bread, what we do, we keep some yeast in the dough, and these yeast take the dough material and do the process of respiration, that is incomplete respiration, and that produces carbon dioxide, right? That this carbon dioxide get trapped in the this dough. Okay, and how they got trapped? Because of the presence of these gluten proteins. Okay, so this causes the dough to increase its volume and produces a bread with a light texture. So this light texture is due to the presence of gluten protein. If this particular protein is not there, then the carbon dioxide which is given by the yeast by the process of respiration, it won't be trapped. Okay, and the dough will not rise, the volume will not increase, and the light texture that must be present in the leavened bread, that will not be there. So if the flours that are low in gluten are used to make leavened bread, then gas escapes and the bread is flat and heavy. So the quality of the bread is not good. So the wheat flour is available in the different grades according to the degree it is extracted from the whole wheat grain. So what type of wheat we are taking? And the wheat flour is having different grades, whether we are taking the whole wheat grain, whether we are taking just inner side of the grain. Okay, so according to the availability or the according to the seeds that we are using, and whether we are using whole wheat or partial wheat, according to that there are different wheat flour. So the flours of the different extraction rate include the following: whole meat flour, that is 100% extraction, means whole wheat is used for making flour. Wheat meal flour 90 to 95% extraction. Straight run flour 70 to 72% extraction. And patents, that is 20 to 40% extraction. So this is the different types of flour wheat. There are a variety of non-wheat flours available that can be mixed with wheat flour to make bread. So there are some other non-wheat flour are also that is used to mixed with the wheat flour to make different variety of bread. Next is the cassava flour. Cassava flour is a fine white powder flour that has a shelf life up to 1 year. So this is very, very important. This powdery flour that can be used for up to 1 year, and it is widely used as a staple food for the production of wide range of fried and baked good, including bread, cakes, and biscuits. So this cassava flour, which is cassava, is basically a type of underground stem that is used for making flour. Okay, and that is used for making different breads, cakes, and biscuits. The best thing about this flour is that you can store this flour for up to 1 year. So the shelf life is having a greater in this case, that is a cassava flour. Cereal flour. Cereal flour, especially from maize and sorghum, which are both staple crop, are used for making bread and snacks food. So this maize and sorghum is also used for making different breads and snacks food. Sorghum is mainly used to make bread or porridge. So this particular sorghum is used for making bread, a kind of bread, and also used for making porridge. Maize is used to make tortillas, snacks, and for the production of corn flour and thickener. So this corn flour is used for making so many dishes. This is required for so many dishes, right? So this maize is very, very important, as its flour are used for making tortillas, snacks, different snacks, production of corn flour and thickeners. It is also used to make any consistency, increase the consistency, or making some liquid, that is like soup. For thickening, we use this corn flour. Soya composite flour. Soya composite flour is a fine creamy flour that is combined with maize flour and other cereal flours to increase the protein content and balance the amino acid composition of the composite flour. So this is used along with some other flour, like we can combine this soya or the composite flour with maize flour or other cereal flour like wheat flour also. In this form, it is used as a breakfast porridge and as a winning food. So this is very, very important. Soya composite flour. Different types of wheat flour are available in each country. Whole meal flour is used for the production of brown bread, rolls, and other high fiber products. So the brown bread, it is having lot of fiber content, rolls that also contain lot of fiber content and high fiber products. So this is one of the very important aspect, that these whole meal flour is having lot of fiber, and this is very good. So different types of wheat flour are available in each country. According to that, we are having whole meal flour also. Atta is a wheat flour that is suitable for making chapatis, and it is also available as wheat meal flour. So this atta that is also of different grade. Okay, so according to what uh, uh, wheat we are using, what variety of wheat we are using, whether we are using whole wheat meat flour or the partial part of that. So according to this wheat flour that is suitable for making chapati, okay, and it is also available as wheat meal flour. Special bakers flour. Bread making flour is a strong flour that is used for bread, rolls, and pastry. So this bakers are using a type of flour that is quite different that one that we use for making chapatis, right? So this bread making flour that is used by the bakers is a strong flour that is used by for making bread, rolls, and pastry. Baker's flour should contain a good quality gluten so that it can produce a light bread, right? So this is very, very important, because this gluten, as we have discussed, this gluten is very important because it provides the elasticity and it can trap the carbon dioxide that is produced by yeast. So this gluten is very, very important component, and it must be present the flour that is having used for making bakery products. This is a special blend of flour that is made for the mechanical biscuit plant. So biscuit flour, this is a special blend of flour mill that is made for the mechanical biscuit plant. So we are having different flour for the biscuit also. Self-raising flour. This flour is a soft flour that is fortified with a chemical aerating additive similar to the baking powder. So self-raising flour means this is a chemical that is like baking powder is used to uh, dough to get rice. Okay, so this is also a similar soft flour that is fortified with a chemical aerating additive similar to the baking powder, and it is used for making chemically aerated bread such as soda bread. This is very, very important. This is used by self-raising flour. So soft flour is used for cake making, and the flour that is very soft that can be used for making cakes. Zea maize is a cereal grain that was domesticated in Mesoamerica, and it is called corn in the United States, Canada, and Australia. But in other countries, the term may refers to other cereal grains. So, it is used as a corn in case of United States, Canada, and Australia. So this we all know that maize is very, very important crop, and its cereal grains are used for making flour also. So it is called a maize in southern Africa. In southern Africa, it is called as maize. Hybrid maize is preferred by the farmers over the conventional varieties for its high grain yield. So this hybrid maize, this produces high grain yield due to the heterosis, that is hybrid vigor. Okay, so the grain yield is improved by having the use of hybrid maize. Conventional one is having the grains but their yield is less, so for that we are using hybrid maize is one of the first crop for which genetically modified varieties make up significant proportion of the total harvesting. So this is one of the crop for which the genetically modified varieties has been developed, and today we are using all those varieties according to the soil, according to the climatic condition. Okay, so this is very, very important aspect aspect that we are using today genetically improved or genetically modified varieties of maize. Because it is cold intolerant in the temperate zones, maize must be planted in the spring. It cannot tolerate the cold intolerant. So in the temperate region, this maize plant must be planted in the springtime. So its root system is generally shallow. So the plant is dependent upon the soil moisture. Root do not go down deep. So if you have seen the maize, it is like this. The roots are not very uh, deep. It is shallow. And here we are having some this stilt root. This is for support. Support. So because the roots are not deep in this particular roots, they are not deep inside the soil. So it can, when the plant is full grown, it can lie down. Okay, so for that support there are having stilt root. So the root system is generally shallow, so the plant is dependent on the soil moisture. So whatever the soil moisture is there, that only it can take. It cannot go deep to search the water, or the water which is available below, it cannot take that. As a C4 plant, a plant that uses C4 photosynthesis, we all know that we are having C3 plant and C4 plant. C3 plant, in which the first primary component, stable component, that is made up of 3 carbon, and in C4 plant the first one is 4 carbon. Okay, 4 carbon, that is oxaloacetic acid. Okay, so this maize is considered as substantially water efficient crop, but it can be sensitive to drought. So this is one of the very important aspect, that it is very sensitive to drought. So proper water availability is the first requirement to grow this particular crop. Mainly the time of silk emergence, when the flowers are ready for the pollination. So at this particular time you must ensure that the crop require water. In the United States, a good harvest was traditionally predicted if the corn was knee high by the 4th of the July, although the modern hybrid generally exceeds this growth rate. So if we are having a knee high by the 4th of the July, the plant is knee high. Knee high means above the knee high, then we can predict a good quality, or a good harvest of the crop this time. Maize used for the silage is harvested while the plant is green and the fruit is immature. For silage means for the storage. This we can harvest the plant green when the plant is green actually. Okay, at that particular time only we can harvest this plant, and at that particular time the fruit is quite immature also. Sweet corn is harvested in the milk stage. This is very important. We are having sweet corn, we can use in making different types of preparations, for the pizzas, for the vegetables, right, for the soup even, and after the pollination, but before the starch had formed. So it is having less starch, so we can have, if we want to have a sweet corn, then we can have this we can harvest this maize crop at the time of milk stage. So the field corn is left in the field very late in order to thoroughly dry the grain. Okay, so this is done. We can leave this, we can harvest this late. Okay, and why we do so? Because the seeds are they left there to dry, and the grain become hard. The importance of the sufficient soil moisture is shown in many parts of Africa, where the periodic drought regularly cause famine by causing maize crop failure. So in many countries like Africa, they are having regular drought. So at that time when they are going for this growth of this maize crop, sometime they are having famine, because all the maize crop that they are having, it get failure because of this periodic drought. Maize can neither be wet or dry milled. Okay, so we can have this maize either be wet or dry milled. So we are having both the option. We can have a wet maize also, and we can have a dry milled also. So in dry milling, maize is ground between the stones or by using hand powdered plate mill or by on a or at a large scale using hammer mill or powdered plate mill. So we can use all the three different types of mill, that is plate mill, that we can use a hammer mill, and also we can use a stone mill. Okay, so these are the different option that is used for milling the maize. In wet milling, the grain is soaked and allowed to ferment slightly to improve the flavor before milling with a hand or a powdered plate mill. So this in this case, we can in wet milling we can soak the uh, maize grains and let it ferment, and then it can go for the milling process. Why we do so? It can improve the flavor before milling, right? So for the particular preparation, we can go for the wet milling. Maize is sometimes soaked in the alkaline water and to facilitate removal of the bran before it is milled. So sometime what we do, we can soak this maize in the alkaline water, and we do so to remove the bran before it is milled. If the maize meal is not used as a whole, it is transferred to the flat breakfast and shaken so that bran is separated from the flory endosperm. So this is used alkaline water. It is treated, soaked or treated with alkaline water so that the upper bran it can be removed. The flour is sometimes ground to make a finer product. Sometimes this seeds of the maize that is used for making flour, and that is very fine product that can be used for making fine product. The bran is often used to feed chickens. So this bran is used to feed chickens. Maize has relatively high fat content and tend to go for rancid quickly. Ground maize meal therefore has a short shelf life. Okay, now paddy rice. We are having paddy, that is rice crop, and we are required some paddy flour also. Okay, paddy flour also. In some countries, paddy is paraboiled before the husk is removed. So this paraboiled is very very important. We go for the paraboiling to remove the husk which is tightly attached to the seeds of rice. So the parboiling is the partial cooking of the rice to gelatinize the starch, which makes the grain tougher. Okay, so this makes the grain tougher, but the husk which is present, a outer covering, that is removed by this partial cooking. There is a slight chance in the flavor which some people prefer. So it also increase or enhance the change in the flavor, and that is required by the people. Some people prefer that type of rice. The toughening process make the seed more resistant to insect attack and to shattering during the husking. So this toughening process makes the seed more resistant to insect attack. If the seed is more tough, then there is a less chance of attack of insects, okay, and shattering during the husking. But when you remove the husk, there is a great chance that the seed can be get attacked by the insect. So it also helps to prevent absorption of moisture from air during the storage, and during the storage it also absorbs the moisture. The parboiling process involves three stages. So what are those stages? uh Soaking or steeping of the paddy in cold or hot water to increase its moisture content. Okay, so we are soaking or steeping the paddy in cold or hot water. Either you can keep that in a cold water or hot water so that the moisture content of the seeds get increased. Now, steam to the gelatinize the starch in the kernel. So the outer covering of the seed, that is kernel, it is having lot of starch. So when you steam it gelatinized the outer covering of the seed, that it get gelatinized, right, and it the husk that is covered up the outer surface, it get removed. Now the third step is drying the seeds, because it is having a lot of moisture, so it can spoil the grain. So for the storing we can go for drying. The husked paddy is referred to as a brown rice, whereas dehusked or the polished rice is a white rice. So basically, we are having two different types. The brown rice, which is a husked paddy, and when this husk is removed by parboiling, then it is called as polished rice or the white rice. So brown rice is nutritionally superior to white rice as it contains some of the bran which contain protein and vitamin B1 thiamine. So if we are considering the nutrition of the rice, then brown rice is preferred because it is having bran which contains some protein and as well as vitamin B1, that is thiamine. So when you remove this husked part, then the rice become white rice. Okay, then we can also call it as a polished rice or dehusked rice. It is not having that nutritionally superior quality because the protein content get reduced, the vitamin B1 which is present in the husk, that is also get removed. Next is millet. The outer layer of some varieties of the sorghum seed, usually the red seed varieties, contain tannins that are slightly toxic and have a bitter taste too, and inhibit the digestion of protein. So this is very very important. This processing is very important in the case of sorghum. Okay, again the sorghum seed, that is usually red seed varieties, it contain tannin, and this tannin it's slightly toxic, it is having a bitter taste and it inhibit the digestion of protein also. So for this reason sorghum is generally hulled before grinding into a flour, right? So this sorghum is generally hulled means the outer covering. Okay, the outer covering that is having the tannin that is slightly toxic is removed. Okay, and then it goes for drying and the grinding into a flour of the millet is done. Traditionally the sorghum and millet is ground by the hand using querns or the hand plate mills. The seed is winnowed and remove the foreign matter, then put it into a large mortar and wetted. It is then pounded to strip the bran or shell from the grain, followed by winnowing to get rid of the bran. Pounding and winnowing are repeated several times to get a good quality milled seed. It is not a good quality, but also the quality is improved because the toxin that is present is removed by this process. So the milled seed is washed to remove any small pieces of bran and soaked in water for 24 hours to condition or temper it. So this is washed to remove all those toxic material, all those pieces of the bran. Okay, and this is done for 24 hours. This washing and wetting is done for 24 hours. The grain is dried to the correct moisture content and then reground using the pestle and mortar to make it flour. So this is all about this session. With this session we have completed the post harvesting process. Okay, thank you very much.